The alien guards stood in a line, their weapons ready. The air was thick with silence as the prisoner ship landed on the black metal floor of Crix-9, the galaxy's most secure prison. It was a place built to hold monsters, war criminals, and beasts from across the stars. But today, they were receiving only one prisoner. Just one. A human. The guards expected someone broken, scared, maybe crying or begging. But what stepped out was a tall figure, calm eyes, blood on his torn clothes, chains around his wrists glowing with anti-gravity tech. He looked around once, then smirked. No fear, no words. Just silence that made even the toughest alien guards uncomfortable. The warden, a 12-foot-tall insectoid creature with sharp limbs and glowing eyes, stepped forward. He had seen all kinds of criminals in his life. But the moment his eyes met the humans, something cold touched his spine. He tried to speak with pride. "You are nothing here. You are alone. No one will save you." But the human only replied, "Good." That one word echoed in the air like thunder. The guards escorted him down the dark corridors, past screaming beasts and cursed creatures. Some prisoners laughed, others cried. But when they saw the human pass by, they stopped. They went silent. Even the mad ones, in the control room, officers watched his arrival on screens. One of them, a young alien officer, asked, "Why all this for just one human?" Another answered, "Because he's not just human. Is the reason why 3 planets are now empty." They checked his record again, name classified, age unknown, past missions blacked out. But one note remained. Do not underestimate. Never lower security. Never speak to him alone. Yet no crimes were listed. Yet. Only a sentence. Trained by humans. Used only when peace fails, they locked him in Cell 0, a place built inside a gravity pocket. No sound could escape. No one could break in or out. Yet even inside that unbreakable box, the human just sat on the floor, calm, staring at the wall. He didn't sleep, didn't eat. He didn't even move for hours, until the lights flickered. Once, twice, then turned red. Sirens began to scream. Across the prison, guards started running. Control room officers shouted over each other. "Something's wrong with Sector 7. The power is draining. Check Cell 0. But when the cameras switched to Cell 0, what they saw made every heart freeze. The cell door was still locked. No one entered. But the chains were broken. The human was gone. Only a message was burned into the floor with deep black marks. It said, "You should have left me on Earth." The warden's legs shook as he read those words. He ordered full lockdown. Every section sealed. Thousands of armed guards rushed to hunt the human. But deep inside, the warden knew this was not a hunt. This was a mistake. In a dark corner of the prison, 2 guards found a pile of security. Bots crushed, destroyed. No weapon fire, just raw force. They looked at each other, then slowly backed away. But before they could run, the hallway lights shut down. A shadow moved in the dark, something fast, silent. And then one by one, the guards began to disappear. No screams, just silence. And far away, in a hidden room, the control center lights blinked red. Cameras failed. Screens went black. The human had not begged. He had not asked for mercy. He came with no weapons. But the million-strong alien prison was now holding its breath, because they all knew. They didn't capture him. They let him. And the alarms never stopped. Red lights flashed across every corridor of the prison. Crix-9 had never faced a full security breach before, especially not from a single unarmed prisoner. Guards shouted over radios, scanning empty hallways with shaking hands, but no one found the human. No footprints, no sounds, just flickers in the corner of their eyes. Some said they heard breathing behind them, but when they turned around, no one was there. Panic spread faster than fire. In the control room, the warden smashed the table with his claw. "How did he get out of Cell 0? He roared. The tech team replied in fear, "Sir. ... No doors were opened, the system shows. The cell is still locked." The warden's eyes burned. Then how is he gone? No one had an answer. But something worse was waiting. A camera feed from the upper level showed something impossible The cell door had opened by itself. No code used, or outside command. Just ... open. And on the wall. More words were burned with black smoke you thought this cage could hold. Me. Guards were sent to seal the entire block, but when they arrived, they found something chilling. Every door in that sector was open. Hundreds of alien prisoners, some with wings, some with claws, were lying unconscious. Not dead, not hurt, just out cold. Something had passed through and erased their minds. Only one whisper came from a half-awake prisoner. He walked past me, ... and I forgot how to move. Security bots built to stop planet-level threats were deployed in waves. They scanned every inch of the prison. Heat vision, motion sensors, psychic detection. But each bot vanished one by one. Some were found later, melted into the floor. Others had strange carvings on their armor, human war symbols no alien understood. One bot's final recording showed a blur, moving faster than sound, than static. But a voice whispered just before the feed died. Still just one human. The prison's highest minds couldn't explain it. How could someone without weapons or gear do this? The young officer who once asked, "Why fear one human?" now sat silent, staring at the screen. His hands were shaking. "This is a trap." He whispered he wanted to be brought here. The warden turned slowly. "You think this is planned?" The officer nodded. He chose this prison. He wanted to be inside. That thought spread like poison. What if the human wasn't escaping ... but preparing something bigger? The biolab, a creature inside a liquid tank suddenly woke up, was known for psychic screams loud enough to shatter skulls. But today it whimpered, pressing itself into the corner of the tank. The scientists were shocked. "Why is it afraid?" one asked. The answer came when they saw the lab door. It wasn't broken. It was unlocked. It's inside on a data pad. 3 words were written. "I remember you." All over Crix-9, the human left behind no blood, no bod, is just fear. Not a single camera could see his face now. But his presence was everywhere. Locked doors were now open. Dead ends had holes in the walls. Systems glitched when guards got too close to certain zones. It was like the prison was rejecting its own rules. By the end of the second day, 25 guards had vanished. No alerts, no screams, just gone. And every officer had the same growing fear. They weren't hunting the human. The human was hunting them. On the third day, the prison was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that didn't feel safe. It felt like the whole station was holding its breath. No new attacks, no alerts, no sightings. The human had vanished completely, but everyone knew he was still inside. Somewhere in the metal walls, moving like a ghost. The warden didn't trust the silence. "He's planning something," he growled. "We need to end this now." So he made the call. "Activate the hunters." The hunters were not regular guards. They were elite alien killers trained for the worst. Each one had survived wars, assassinations, and mutant uprisings. There were 5 of them, each with special skills. One could bend gravity, another could shift forms, one could read thoughts, one could teleport short distances. The 5th was a silent killer who never spoke. Together, they had captured warlords, beasts, even nightmares. But today, their mission was one human. They entered the lower zones where cameras no longer worked. Their sensors beeped with strange energy spikes, but nothing clear. The shapeshifter laughed. "He's hiding like a rat." But the gravity bender wasn't so sure. "No, he's waiting." They spread out, searching the shadows. One by one, they entered different parts of the abandoned sectors. The first to go silent was the teleporter. He blinked into a hallway and never blinked out. His tracker stayed still. When the others arrived at his location, they found only his badge, placed neatly on the floor. No signs of struggle, no blood, just silence. The second was the thought reader. He screamed suddenly, grabbing his head. "He's inside!" Shouted, "He's not human!" Then he collapsed, shaking, whispering the same words over and over. "He knew I was coming." We wouldn't move after that. Stared at the wall like something had broken inside his mind. the shapeshifter, tried to run, changing forms to escape, but every door he reached was locked from the inside. Cameras turned to follow him, lights blinked as he passed. And then, static. His final message came through radio. He set traps, not machines, psychological traps, the gravity bender. Floated into the air, trying to crush everything in a 20-meter radius. He screamed into the shadows, "Come out and fight!" But the only answer was a quiet beep from his device. He looked down. A small alien grenade, his own, was stuck to his belt. Before he could react, the screen went dark. The last hunter. Silent One stood still in the dark. He was calm, patient, but even he started to hear footsteps. Soft, slow, closer. He turned around fast. Nothing. Again. Nothing. Then a whisper came from the air itself. "You don't belong here." A second later, his weapon fell to the ground. He was gone. In the control room, officers watched the trackers blink out, one after the other. The warden's voice was low now. Not angry, not proud, just tense. 5 in, none out. One officer asked, "Should we call the Galactic Command?" The warden shook his head. "We call them. They'll realize we can't contain a single human. That'll be the end of our reputation. We end this here." But deep inside, even the warden knew they had already lost. The human didn't run. He didn't hide. He waited. He let them come. And now, the hunters, those who once hunted monsters, had become the prey. And the human. He hadn't even used a weapon yet. By the 4th day, the fear inside Crixnine was no longer silent. It was loud and clear. Guards refused to enter certain sectors. Doors were sealed, but they still opened without command. Whole wings of the prison were now dark, power drained from systems that were supposed to be untouchable. The officers no longer spoke with confidence. The warden, once proud and powerful, now paced the floor, eyes tired, hands shaking. The warden ordered the remaining guards to gather in the center hall. He stood above them and shouted, "We are not afraid of one man." But even as he spoke, his voice cracked. Everyone remembered what happened to the hunters, 5 of the strongest, each one a legend, and they never came back. Their tracking. Signals vanished. Their bodies were never found. The only thing left behind was their gear, always placed carefully, almost like a message. In the medbay, one of the injured guards started screaming. Doctors rushed in, but he wasn't hurt. He was terrified. He kept saying, "I saw him. I saw his eyes. No light. Just darkness." When asked where, he pointed at a locked storage room. When they checked it, it was empty. But on the wall, written in blood, were the words, "I'm still here." Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the human was a ghost. Others believed he wasn't human at all, just a weapon. Created by Earth, a few thought he could walk through walls, control machines with his mind. But no one had proof, only fear. In truth, the human never needed to do much. Just appear in the corner of a hallway, just move a camera slightly, just let the doors creak open slowly on their own. That was enough, and the silence became louder then. Screams in one control room. A group of 5 officers tried to shut down the lower levels. They blocked air vents, sealed lifts, and set firewalls. But as they worked, the lights flickered. Then one by one, their screens shut down. The room went dark. A soft knock came from the door. Just one knock. Then a pause. Then another. They held their breath. One officer pulled his blaster, pointed it at the door. But the door never opened. Instead, a new line appeared on their blank monitor. "I already came through." Even the AI that ran parts of the prison began to glitch. Voice systems started repeating words from the human's record. "Do not underestimate. Do not speak alone. Do not... ... double quotes, then cut to static. Some lights turned red even when no danger was near. Others stayed off even during emergencies. It was like the station itself was confused or afraid. Some guards tried to escape. They rushed toward the hangars in panic, hoping to take a ship and leave. But when they arrived, the ships were going to vanish. Only the hangar lights remained dim and flickering. A single crate stood in the center. Inside, they found the ship keys and a note, "You're not going anywhere." That was the moment they knew he wasn't just walking around the prison. He owned it now. By the end of the day, a full third of the prison was abandoned by its own staff. Those who remained locked themselves inside safe rooms, hoping to survive the night. The warden looked out over the camera feeds, most of them offline, and whispered, "He's not killing them, he's breaking them." It was true. No blood. No war. Just fear. Pure and deep. And far below, in the shadows of Crix-9, the human stood alone in a corridor. Calm. Watching. Planning. Every step he took wasn't random. Every choice was exact. He didn't come to escape. He came to show them what true fear looked like. Not loud, not violent, just quiet and unstoppable. By the 5th day, the prison was no longer in control. Command systems barely worked. Half the prison wings were dark and silent. Guards whispered in corners, holding weapons they didn't trust. No one walked alone. No one slept. And no one dared to speak the human's name. The warden had lost over 600 personnel, none found, none confirmed dead. They had just vanished. And worse, the human still hadn't shown himself. Not clearly, not once. It was as if he had become part of the prison itself. The last message from Sector 12 came at dawn. Guards screaming, "He's in the walls," then static. When a team was sent to check, they found the walls untouched, but words burned into a metal panel. Still just one human. That message broke something in the remaining crew. Even the bravest officers began to question their mission. Why were they still here? Why not leave? Why stay in a place the human had already taken over? By midday, the retreat began. It's quiet at first. Small teams sneaking out, trying to reach escape pods. But when the others saw them running, panic exploded. Like fire, hundreds rushed toward the hangars. Orders were ignored. Doors were broken down. The warden screamed over the intercom, "Stand your ground, fight," but no one listened anymore. The fear had grown too large. It wasn't about duty. Now it was survival. Ships that hadn't been used in years were suddenly powering up. Alien guards pushed each other, fought each other just to get inside. It didn't matter who was first. They just wanted out. And all of them said the same thing as they fled. One human. Just one. Some cried. Some laughed like madmen. Some stared blankly into space, their minds broken. In the control tower, the warden stood alone, watching it all. His hands gripped the edge of the console. Command crew had abandoned their posts. The monitors showed ships fleeing into the black void, leaving trails of fire and smoke. Crix-9, the strongest prison in the galaxy, was falling. Not to an army, not to a virus, but to one man. Then the room lights dimmed. A soft noise came from behind him. Footsteps. Calm, measured. The warden turned slowly. No weapons, no defense, just tired eyes. The human was standing there, face half in shadow, calm as ever. The warden tried to speak, but his voice failed. The human didn't attack. He didn't raise a hand, just looked at the main screen showing the thousands of aliens escaping, running into space. Then he looked at the warden and said, "You thought I came to destroy this place?" He paused. "I came to show them what fear feels like." The warden fell to his knees. The human walked past him, slowly, toward the command chair. He sat down, comfortable, relaxed. One hand reached for the console and pressed a single button. A calm voice echoed through the empty halls. "Control has been transferred." Every locked door opened. Every camera turned to the human. Prison was his now. Far above, in a fleeing cruiser, a high-ranking alien officer watched the last. Camera feeds a human sitting alone in the command chair, with thousands of alien soldiers screaming in fear behind him. The officer leaned back, shaking his head. "We should have never brought him here," he whispered. "Earth didn't send him to escape. They sent him to teach us a lesson." And now the entire galaxy had learned. When a human walks into your fortress alone, you run. The story of Crix-9 spread like wildfire across the stars. No one expected it one human, alone, without weapons. had walked into the strongest prison ever built and broken it without firing a single shot. Thousands of alien soldiers had fled in panic. Entire fleets reported the same thing. Escape pods full of elite guards, weeping and silent, refusing to speak of what they had seen. Only one phrase passed from mouth to mouth. He didn't escape. He took over. In the Galactic Senate, leaders from 100 species gathered in silence. They watched the final footage. The human sitting calmly in the command chair, eyes cold, face relaxed, no smile, no anger, just control. Eyed him. On a giant screen were the words, "This was a warning. Don't come back." The hall remained quiet for a long time. No one dared suggest sending a rescue team. No may may may. No may 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 may. No may 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 may. No may 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 may. No may 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 may. No may may. No may may may. Tony May. Tony May. Tony May May. No may may may. No may may. No may may may. No may may. No may may may. No one dare. Dare you? No one may. No one may 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 may. May 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 may. May 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 may. Deep down, they all understood the lesson had been delivered. Meanwhile, inside Crix-9, the human walked. The halls alone. He didn't need guards. The prison was silent, peaceful now. Every system listened to him. Every door opened for him. Every camera followed his steps. The prisoners who had once screamed and roared now stayed silent in their cells, too scared to even breathe loudly. Even the worst monsters of the galaxy had learned fear. In one forgotten cell, an alien warlord pressed himself into a corner as the human walked past. The warlord had once destroyed 3 planets. Now, he didn't even raise his head. The human didn't speak to him. He just paused, looked at the sealed cell door, and walked on. That was enough. Above Crix-9, a drone ship floated in orbit, recording a final message. It was sent to every major system in the galaxy. The human appeared on the screen, face clear, eyes sharp. His voice was calm and steady. "You brought me here in chains. You wanted to study me, control me, fear me from a distance. You've seen what I really am. I don't need ships. I don't need armies. I don't need to fight. I just need to walk through your doors and let you destroy yourselves." He paused, then added, "Tell your leaders, tell your people, tell your children. Don't test Earth." Again, the screen went black. From that day forward, Earth was given a new name in alien tongues, the Silent Power. No more invasion plans were written. No more spies were sent. Instead, galaxies rewrote their maps, placing warning signs. Around human space, do not enter. Even pirates and bounty hunters avoided the blue planet. Fear had done what diplomacy never could. Back on Earth, deep in a silent base, a group of humans watched the broadcast. One of them, a general, nodded and turned off the screen. "He did it," she said. "Crix-9 is ours now, without a war." Another smiled. The galaxy needed to remember. Humans aren't just fighters. We're storms. You don't see us coming until it's too late. And somewhere, sitting alone on his new throne, deep inside the heart of a prison that once held millions, the human closed his eyes and listened to the silence. No alarms, no screams, just peace. One human, a million aliens. And now, they all ran. Weeks passed. Crix-9 remained dark in the edge of space, floating like a forgotten grave. No ships approached. No messages came in. Across the galaxy, no one dared speak of the human who now ruled it. Fear had done its work, but not everyone could live with fear. A secret meeting took place far from any known system. Leaders of 3 major empires gathered, their faces pale, their voices low. "We can't let this continue," one said. "When he's just one man," another replied. "No, he's more than that," the third whispered. "He's a symbol now, and symbols spread faster than war." They formed a plan not to destroy the human, but to erase him. A stealth ship, silent and cloaked, was sent toward Crix-9. Its mission: inject a virus into the prison system, shut down the AI, vent the oxygen, and erase all life inside quietly. No weapons, no fights, just a quiet reset. They believed the human would never see it coming, but Earth knew. Before the stealth ship even reached the edge of Crix-9's space, it was stopped not by weapons, but by words. A message appeared. On the pilot screen, "We warned you once." Then every system on the stealth ship went dark. The engines died. The air froze. And in the final seconds, the pilot saw him, the human already standing on the ship. Though no one had seen him leave the prison, back on Earth, when Command confirmed the failure of the stealth mission, they didn't celebrate. They simply marked a file: threat confirmed. Response complete. And the galaxy? It finally understood the truth. Crix-9 had never been a prison. It was a test. The human wasn't there to escape. He wasn't even there to conquer. He was left there by Earth for one reason only: to see. Who would dare challenge humanity next? No one ever did. Crix-9 became a dead zone, marked in every star map as cursed space. Ships rerouted to avoid it. Children were told stories of the ghost man of the Iron Fortress. Some said he still walked the halls. Others believed he had returned to Earth, but the smartest ones knew he never left. Inside the prison, the human walked the corridors. In silence, each step echoing against steel and memory. The lights flickered as if respecting his presence. No screams, no alarms, no threats, only silence. And in that silence, he smiled, because this was not the end. It was only the beginning. One human, a million aliens. None remained.